interesting article to read. Here's why serial poopers just can't stop pooping in public. This is something we see of Christopher Brindle. You know, one of the first crimes he committed was defecating in the JCB seat that he'd broken into. These are the same kind of people who, as it says on this article, defecate on front yards, on sidewalks, and even in front of drugstores. Here we have a bowel movement bandit, you could say. Chris Brindle, the bowel movement bandit, who pooped in dorm washing machines, not just once or twice, but 8 times. These are type of fanatical screwballs we're dealing with. And it's the ultimate fuck you and vandalism crime, this psychologist Sharon Sherburn says. And this is very much see this with Christopher Brindle. Full-blown psychosis. May not realise where they are. But serial poopers, such as Chris Brindle, by contrast, are very intentional. And they go through lengths to keep their identity anonymous. And we see that with Brindle, don't we? So, it is doing this, leaving your excrement as a sign or as a statement is just as familiar as slashing, graffiti, or salting lawns. The motivation is anger or envy, and of course, again, we see that with Christopher Brindle. We can see his anger coming out on how he interacts with his pets, and we can see the envy that he has towards other more successful people in the way he porn bombs and harasses other people's shows, such as my own. And that addiction might be feeding the behaviour even more. There can be a secondary gain from getting away with it that can lead to a kind of invincibility and rationalising as they deserved it anyway. When the behaviour continues, there's no remorse. Indeed, you see a growing sense of grandiosity, a type of vindictive rage getting acted out. I mean, that sums up Chris Brindle's conduct towards me over the last 5 years. 5 years. He has got a sense of invincibility that he can do whatever he wants to me with impunity. And he does rationalise it by saying, oh, he deserved it anyway for my past so-called crimes, which I just hasten to add I've paid for in full. And I've served the time. But Chris Brindle, he has no remorse for what he does. And in fact, his confidence and his rationalisation of what he does grows in grandiosity. And it is a type of vindictive rage that he is acting out upon me, which is the anger and the envy. And this is an elimination disorder. The American Council on Science and Health refers to the phenomenon of public defecation as a potential elimination disorder, a diagnosable mental disorder marked by the inappropriate passage of feces or avoiding of urine, or avoiding of urine. That there can be much more at play for some people, according to clinical psychologist Bart Rossi. And we often see, I often make the joke about Chris Brindle wanking in the bushes of Preston. Well, what's more accurate is that Chris Brindle is having a shit in the bushes of Preston. He agrees that the anger is the dominating force, but it could be mixed with other problems. After all, you probably got mad at your boss once or twice, for instance. But when's the last time you pooped on his doorstep as a result of it? So there are likely other things at play with the serial poopers, says Rossi, including possibilities like narcissistic personality disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. And of course, that really sums up Chris Brindle. If ever he did come to Brighton, to my doorstep, rather than knock on my doorstep and risk a punch in his face and a broken nose, of course, Chris Brindle would rather leave a shit on my doorstep, because that's the ultimate fuck you signal, fuck you message. And as the psychologist is pointing out, Rossi, it's a narcissistic personality disorder, an obsessive compulsive disorder. And we can see that with Chris Brindle and his conduct, the way he repeats my name, and then grooms other people to do the same. Sharon Gale and Heather Turner springs to mind. These people might also have thought a disorder, believing that this is what takes to be recognised, Dr. Rossi says. In other words, they may have had an issue with something else, but believed they wouldn't be listened to or acknowledged, so they had to poop to make it known. Oh, isn't that interesting? Here we have a psychologist, Dr. Rossi, saying, in other words, there may have been an issue with something else, but believed they couldn't be listened to or acknowledged, so they had to poop to make it known. This is very interesting. This reveals that there was something happened in Chris Brindle's childhood that he wanted help with, but he was too scared to vocalise it. So he sent a message of help out by defecating in public spaces. No doubt he left a few poops around school and growing up through nursery and secondary education. And of course, recognise they are. Poop is actually quite a powerful tool. Dr. Cherban, and it shows, said Dr. Cherban, and it shows aggression in the most primal fashion possible. What else would you expect from a Neanderthal like Christopher Brindle, other than expressing his aggression in the most primal fashion possible? And that's by porn bombing, public pooping, and constant harassment. So, the act of serial public pooping isn't really a laughing matter, and portraying them as kooky, light-hearted, and funny news stories might be masking the real issues at play, and it could be inadvertently condoning their behaviour as socially acceptable. That's why serial poopers just can't stop pooping in public. Why serial harassers like Grobnob just cannot stop porn bombing and harassing. So until the next time, God bless. Remember, King Arthur loves you.